In this video, we're going to show you to install the rear park assist camera on your Nissan Quest, located in the rear hatch. With the rear hatch open, you're going to locate two plastic retainer push pins. When you use a trim tool, you need to get underneath the first button here. And pull these out. We use our pocket screwdriver and pop out the little trim bucket here. And pop out a little cover here. Remove our access cover here. Now the lower panel meets up with the side panels here, and this will actually dislodge. And you're going to follow it over to the other side. Undo the clips there. Take that panel, set it aside. With the trim panel removed, you want to disconnect the camera harness right here. You're going to use a little pocket screwdriver, go on the back side. You're going to press down and disconnect that. Now, in order to gain access to the back side of the camera here, there's going to be a series of 8mm nuts here. There is 6 of them. And then on the outer ends, there is one little plastic retainer right here, and then there's one over on the passenger side. And we're going to remove these nuts all the way across. Once we break these all free, we can just come back and spin those off by hand. We have one more right here. Then we have this connector right here. Now with these harnesses here, you're going to see a little rubber grommets. We're just going to push those through. Same thing on the camera here. There's a rubber grommet. Push that through the other side of the body. All right, let's go on the outside of the vehicle and pull that trim bezel off. On the back side, holding the camera in, there's 2 Phillips head screws that hold the camera in place. Let's bring this over to the bench, clean this up, and swap this out. Now on the back here, we want to clean this down. We're going to use a bit of spray solvent. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses when doing something like this. Now right here on the back side of the bracket, there should be 2 Phillips head screws that resemble the ones around it that actually have Phillips head marks in there. What we have to do is figure out a way to get these out. We're simply going to notch them to make a flathead portion there, so we can use a flathead screw in there to get that out. Now we got our screws out, so we can go ahead and remove our camera. Let's go ahead and install the new one. Now on the back side of our bracket here, our camera is held on to the bracket by these 2 Phillips head screws. Going to use a tiny screwdriver here. I'm going to remove these 2, the diagonal of each other. We're going to be reusing those screws. Swap over the rubber grommet. I'm going to use our razor blade here and carefully slit this outer sheathing off. And we install the rubber grommet. We want to make sure it's basically in the same length as the old one. slide that off. We know this is on the right way because the screws are going to line up with the holes on the back side here. You just want to snug those. They don't have to be super tight. You want to make sure that the bracket is solid up against that camera. I'm going to snip off a little bit of this. That'll allow us to get our connector through. Now that we get your boot installed over the connector, install the bracket. Go ahead and install your screws. You just want to gently snug those down. And we're ready to install. Install our harnesses into the body. Push these through. We have a rubber grommet here on this side. Let's line up our trim panel and get those studs put through the body. And once this is lined up and placed in, we can install the nuts on the inside. Once we get all the nuts installed, we'll go ahead and snug them down. Once that's bottomed out, just give it a little bit more. They don't have to be super tight, but you do want to make sure they're good and snug. Install our connectors. Make sure that the rubber grommet for this here is pulled through the body. Line this up. Let's now install our trim panel. On the inside of our trim panel here, you have a series of these white retainer buttons that lock into the rear hatch. You want to make sure that these are on the panel and not on the hatch, because otherwise you won't be able to get them to lock into place. Once you put these all into the panel, we can raise this up. You can feel the buttons line up and simply go around the perimeter, locking it in, securing the trim panel to the forward mounted or the upper panel. Install all of your other trim panels here. You can install your 2 trim buttons, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.